Basta kay Sir Rojan, ibang klase. Let's go!
Okay, welcome muli sa ating klase. Sa video na to, pag-uusapan natin ang Article 1311. This article na to, dinidiscuss ang tungkol sa relativity of contracts. Ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng relativity or privity at sino-sino mga apektado under the contracts base sa principle na ito? Sino-sino nga ba? Ready ka na? Sige, start tayo. Let's go! Ayan, sige, basahin muna natin. Article 1311. Contracts take effect only between the parties, their assigns, and heirs, except in case where the rights and obligations arising from the contract are not transmissible by their nature or by stipulation or by provision of law. The heir is not liable beyond the value of the property he received from the decedent. If a contract should contain some stipulation in favor of a third person, he may demand its fulfillment provided he communicated his acceptance to the obligor before its revocation. A mere incidental benefit or interest of a person is not sufficient. The contracting parties must have clearly and deliberately conferred a favor upon a third person. So this article na to, dinidiscuss ang concept or principle ng relativity ng contracts. So which is a characteristic din naman ng contract. So relativity of contracts. So under sa principle na ito, ang contract daw generally effective lang siya at saka binding between the parties, their assigns, and their heirs. So, iyan yung sinasabi sa unang sentence. So, general rule, okay, contracts take effect and bind. Contracts take effect and bind. Sino-sino? Number one, contracting parties. Kung sino yung kung sino yung magkakontrata, dun lang effective yung contracts nila. Okay? Pangalawa, yung kanilang heirs and assign. Okay? Or assigns and heirs. At saka sinasabi na ang contracts generally ay hindi siya binding sa third person. Not binding to third person. Not binding to third person. Ibig sabihin, hindi damay ang third person dito. Liban na lang, nakalagay dyan, liban na lang kung merong stipulation favoring a third person. Okay? Ang tawag natin doon, stipulation for outruy. Okay? Pero sabi dito sa unang part ulit, yung contracts daw ay take effect only sa contracting parties tsaka sa heirs. Pero itong heirs, meron tong exception. Okay? Except kung yung rights at saka obligation ay hindi transmissible. Except if rights and obligation are not transmissible. Yan. So ano ba yung mga instances na hindi pwedeng ipasa ang karapatan at hindi pwedeng ipasa ang obligasyon? Una, kapag yung nature ng right and obligation ay hindi talaga kapasa-pasa. Halimbawa, let's say may kontrata ako sa isang foundation, nabibigyan nila ako ng scholarship hanggang graduate ako. So yun yung contract namin. Ang right ko is right sa scholarship, ang obligation niya, obliged siyang magbigay sa akin ng pambayad ng tuition. Unfortunately, halimbawa ako ay namatay or na-hospitalized na hindi na ako makapag-aral. Yung scholarship, yung right ko sa scholarship cannot be transmitted kasi hindi naman nata-transmit ang intelligence. Kasi the very reason why they gave me scholarship is because of my intelligence, yung talino ko. So hindi naman siya kayang ipasa. So therefore, bawal siyang ipasa. I mean, hindi naman bawal. Hindi siya kayang ipasa. The nature of what will be transmitted is parang impossible. Okay, pangalawa, nagkasundo. So halimbawa, I'll promise to give you 10,000 every month. Okay? Tapos no one else, hindi na pwede na hindi puwedeng i-transmit if in the event may mangyari sa'yo. Okay? Kayang ipasa pero hindi siya pinayagan ng parties. So by stipulation. And number three, by provision of law. Okay? So according to law, bawal siyang ipasa. Halimbawa is partnership. Sa contract of partnership, even though hindi siya stipulated, hindi naman pinapayagang ipasa ang kapital or yung interest sa mga heirs or yung mga spouses, yung naiwang surviving spouse. Okay? Kasi ang rule natin diyan, madi-dissolve yung partnership. Okay? So, hindi pwedeng i-transmit yung interest ni partner na namatay sa kanyang heirs or sa kanyang spouse. Kasi provision of law, bawal yon. Although, walang kasunduang ganon, pwede namang ipasa pero hindi siya pinapayagan ng batas. So again, general rule, ang contracts under relativity, effective lang siya sa mga parties involved, contracting parties, at saka yung kanilang heirs and assigns. Kasi dito sa number 1, effective lang ang contract kung sino nag-execute. Dahil contracting parties kayo, kayo yung nag-execute, kaya effective yung contract between the two of you. Even when the contract is ostensibly in the name of one person, kung alam nung isang party na yung person na yun ay hindi naman talaga nag exist or wala siyang legal existence or any real interest in the contract, pero yung another person had an interest and was the real party to the contract. So yung contract na yun will also produce effect with respect to the latter. So yun yung sinasabi nating contracts take effect and bind the parties to the contract themselves. So yun yung unang part, di ba? Ito, yan. So binding yung kung sino man na nakipag-contract sa isa't isa, binding yung contract sa kanila. Yung pangalawa na heirs, generally, basta transmissible yung rights and obligation, effective din yung contract sa kanila. This is according to 1178. Okay? 1178. Maliban na nga lang kung hindi siya transmissible. Okay? Sabi kasi sa 1178, um, pag hindi na transmissible, kasi the law provides, okay, hindi pwedeng sa batas, ayaw sa contract, stipulation, tsaka purely personal in nature, yung obligation. So, ito yun, purely personal in nature. Kaya hindi siya pwedeng ipasa. Okay? Halimbawa, yun nga, bibigyan kita ng, halimbawa, si Heidi Lynn Diaz, yun, siya nanalo ng gold medal ng Olympics. Binigyan siya ng free gas. Halimbawa, lifetime. Hindi siya pwedeng i-transmit or ipasa yung right na yun kasi ang reason kung ba't siya binigyan dahil siya ay naging gold medalist. So, purely personal yung nature ng rights and obligation kaya meron. Therefore, hindi siya transmissible. Okay? Sa kanyang magiging asawa or sa kanyang anak, no? So, hindi pwede. Okay? Tapos, another general rule natin, contracts cannot affect third person. So, hindi siya binding sa third person, kagaya na sinabi natin dito. Okay? Bakit hindi sila affected? The very reason why they're not affected is because they're not a contracting party. They're not a party to the contract. Therefore, if they're not a party to the contract, the third persons are not bound or affected by the contract itself. Okay? So therefore, reason kaya bakit siya hindi binding? Not a party to the contract. Not a party to the contract. Yan. So therefore, ang contract hindi siya pwedeng maging binding at hindi siya pwedeng i-enforce against sa isang tao na hindi naman siya party dun. Even if he is aware of such contract and has acted with knowledge. Okay? So basic principle yan sa civil law. Siyempre, may certain exceptions. Basic principle sa civil law na a contract can only bind the parties kung sino yung pumasok sa party na yon, kasama na rin yung successors niya who assume responsibilities or personalities or yung juridical positions. So as a consequence, ang contract can neither favor nor prejudice a third person. Okay? Except kung halimbawa may stipulation for outruing. Okay? So exception dito, exception, stipulation for outruing. Yan. Ano ibig sabihin yan? So, ito yung sinasabi ng 1311 din. Yan. General rule, third persons are not bound by the contract, except if we have a stipulation for outruing. Anong sabi dyan? If a contract should contain some stipulation in favor of a third person, he may now demand its fulfillment. Yan. Kasi dahil general rule, dahil hindi ka naman party, you cannot enforce fulfillment because third persons are not bound by the contract except if there's a stipulation favoring them. Ang tawag natin doon, stipulation per autrui. Stipulation favoring a third person or in favor of a third person. Yun yung per autrui. Yan. Dahil meron ng stipulation na ngayon na nagfe-favor sa kanya, pwede na siyang mag-demand ng fulfillment provided na tinatanggap niya. Kino-communicate niya yung kanyang acceptance dun sa stipulation kung saan pinapaboran siya bago pa ma-revoke yung stipulation or yung contract. Okay? Again, sinasabi dyan, if a contract should contain some stipulation in favor of a third person, he may demand its fulfillment provided na i-communicate niya yung kanyang acceptance. At hindi pwedeng yung mere incidental benefit or interest lang. Hindi yun sufficient. Kailangan the contracting parties malinaw at intentional na meron silang pinapaborang third person. So nakalagay dyan, contracting parties must clearly and deliberately conferred a favor upon a third person. Hindi yung pwedeng nakinabang lang ang third person. Kailangan intentional ng parties na talagang magbigay ng favor sa isang third person. So ano ang mga requisite niya? So una, syempre dapat may stipulation. So there should be a stipulation in favor of a third person. Okay? Tapos, yung stipulation na yan must be a part of the contract. Stipulation must be part. Not whole, hindi yung kabuuan. Part lang. Yan. Not whole. Kasi pag whole, parang iba na yan. Okay? Pangatlo, yun nga, malinaw tsaka sinasadya nilang i-confer yung favor. At hindi pwedeng mere incidental benefit. So the contracting parties must clearly and deliberately conferred upon a favor. Conferred a favor upon a third person. Deliberately. Yan. Intentional nila talagang mag-confer. Confer a favor upon a third person. Yan. Kasali talaga siya doon sa kanilang gustong mangyari. Si third person, kasali talaga. Tapos, dahil favor yung ibibigay, kailangan niyang i-communicate yung acceptance at tinatanggap niya yung favor na yon. Third person must communicate acceptance. Must communicate acceptance to the obligor. So, kay debtor. Bago pa ma-revoke. Paano yung acceptance? It can be expressed, it can be implied. So, acceptance can be expressed or implied. Sige, tinatanggap ko na sa akin ibigay yung interest. Halimbawa ay si debtor, nangutang kay creditor. Tapos yung interest, ibigay mo kay third person, sabi ni creditor. Sabi ni debtor, creditor, pautang naman ako. Bayaran kitang interest, sabi ni creditor. Sige, pero yung interest, bigay mo na lang kay third person. Basta akin yung principal, kanya yung interest. So, deliberately, talagang intentional na ibigay yung interest, so yun yung favor, sa isang third person, na dapat si third person, kinommunicate niya muna kay obligor. Sabi ni third person, okay lang, sige, sa akin mo ibigay. Yan. Tapos, panglima, okay, na requisite, neither of the contracting parties bears the legal representation or authorization of the third party. Ibig sabihin, wala ni isa sa kanilang inauthorize ng third person o ng third party. Neither parties are or is authorized or representation or represented by represents third person, third party. Yan. Kumbaga, hindi sila inauthorize or hindi sila inutusan ng third person na ibigay sa kanya yung favor na yon. Okay? So, ano example niyan? Yun nga, sinabi natin yung interest. What else? Let's say, insurance policy. Okay? Si airline may kinuhang insurance policy para sa mga passengers niya. So 'pag halimbawa may nangyari dun sa airline, okey, yung insurance premium mapupunta sa mga passengers or yung sa kanilang mga heirs or assigns, okey? So yung insurance na yun is a stipulation for outrui kasi ang may contract ay si airline tsaka si insurance company pero ang mabe-benefit ay si, passenger or yung kanyang heirs or assigns. Okay? What else? So insurance ng employer. Kumuha si employer ng insurance or hospitalization, tapos si employees ang beneficiary. Okay? So ito namang stipulation for outrui, wala naman siyang particular form. It may even be inferred from the fact na yung beneficiary has na-enjoy niya yung same for considerable period. Okay? Paano sir 'pag halimbawa tinanggap na ni third person yung favor, tapos walang performance na ginawa si obligor? So puwede niyang isampahan ng reklamo. So kaya nakalagay dito, he may demand fulfillment, so meron siyang remedy na parang creditor. So he can sue for action for specific performance, resolution or damages. Okay? 'Yan. So itong stipulation per outrui, isa lang 'yan sa exception ng general rule natin ng principle of relativity, kung saan hindi nga binding 'yan sa third person, except kung sila ay, may favor na binigay sa kanila. Isa lang 'yan, marami pa 'yan. Yung 13-12 'pag may real rights yung contract, 13-13 'pag yung contract ay na-defraud, ang intention ng contract is to defraud creditors, 13-14 kapag may tortious interference, et cetera. So marami tayong exception sa general rule na hindi binding ang contract sa third person. Okay? 'Yan. So 'yun, dito nagtatapos yung Article 1311. Sinasabi dito na principle of relativity ng contracts, generally, ang contract daw ay effective lang sa mga parties na nag-execute ng contract, pati na rin sa mga heirs at assigns nila kung sakaling may mangyari sa kanila, okey? Liban na lang kung yung contract may rights and obligations na hindi kayang i-transmit sa kanilang heirs or assigns. Kagaya nga ng based on nature, hindi talaga kayang i-transmit, nagkasundo ang parties na hindi puwedeng ipasa, under the law hindi siya pinapayagan. Gano'n din naman ang third person, hindi effective ang contract sa third person, so hindi siya binding. Liban na lang kung merong favor, okey, na nabe-benefit sila, okey? Kasi nga ang reason hindi naman party to the contract ang third person, so bakit binding 'yan sa kanila? Except na nga lang kung stipulation for outrui, stipulation favoring a third person. So anong mga requisites natin? 'Yan, na may stipulation dapat at yung stipulation ay parte ng contract at hindi yun yung contract mismo. Tapos malinaw dapat at sinasadya at intentional ng parties na isali si third person bilang beneficiary. Tapos si beneficiary sa third person, tinanggap niya yung favor na binigay sa kanya. Tapos neither of the parties ay inauthorize yung third person na gawin yun. May nakalagay din pala dito, the heir is not liable beyond the value of the property he received from the decedent. So for example, si halimbawa si A, okay, nangutang kay B. So siya si debtor, ito si creditor. Okay, debtor, creditor. Okay? Si B namatay, so siya ay na-debts. Okay? Yan, bungo yan. Okay? Na-dead siya. So anak niya si E. Ngayon, mapapasa ngayon yung itong ibig sabihin ng heirs, yung rights. Mapapasa ngayon yung utang ni A, yung rights ni B kay A para dun sa bayad. So si A magbabayad kay E bilang right dun sa credit. On the other hand, kung halimbawa naman si A namatay, si debtor ang namatay, let's say si E ang anak, okay? Hindi puwedeng ipasa ang utang. Ang mangyayari muna, yung properties ni A, bago yan ipasa kay E, ima-minus muna yung value ng debt. So, minus obligation. Paano sir 'pag mas malaking property? Eh, di may natira pa, ibibigay yun kay E. Paano 'pag hindi yun walang natira, kulang, o hindi liable si E? Kasi nga, si heir, hindi siya liable beyond the value of the property received. Kung natanggap niya lang ay ganito, tapos may utang din yung kanyang magulang, ibabawas yun sa kanyang property ng magulang niya, hanggang dun lang. Kung hindi na kaya, hindi walang magagawa si E dun. Hindi siya puwedeng singilin ng creditor ni A. Okay. So yun, I hope meron ako nadagdag na bagong learning na magagamit ninyo sa inyong mga klase. Kung medyo may kalituhan ka, ulitin mo yung lecture natin, I'm sure makukuha mo rin yan. Yan lagi kong sinasabi sa inyo, mag-aral kayo mabuti, mag-ingat palagi, at laging tatandaan, ibang klase ka. Bye-bye!